Okay, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at, and welcome to my channel. One thing I want to go over with you briefly today is a few little tips, some things that may help you out. I notice a lot of times I've seen posts, people ask, what do people do with sanding? How can I sand my stuff? What do you recommend? I've got a few little things I want to go over with you on sanding some items. First thing, Scotch-Brite. You can get these little, this is a Dremel Quick Connect. You can get these Scotch-Brite pads. They're different consistency or different abrasiveness, I should say. A lot of times people use, scouring pads, cleaning pots and pans. They're very similar to that. And I use these on bone, very, very hard materials, stuff such as that. Another thing that you may want to use sometime or another is these flap sanding discs. You can pick them up different places. They're very, very stiff, very rigid. Watch your speed. You can use them in your Dremel to buff walking sticks or whatever. One thing that I often use, if the item is really dirty or got a lot of debris on it or whatever, you don't want to put your tools in it, or you just want to clean it up, there's these little brass brushes. You can get these really cheap. Sometimes they come in the little Dremel kits. Okay, watch your speed on these. Don't use excessive RPMs, and always make sure you're wearing safety glasses on this stuff. Okay, as you can see here, this used to be a wire brush one. I've used it extensively, cleaning pine knots and stuff like that. It's shot. It's wore out. I need to replace it. Another thing that there's companies out there. I found these little barrel type sanders, attachments. Roll your sandpaper up, push it in there. It locks into place, and you can get into some cracks and crevices with that. I honestly don't know exactly where I picked this up at. I believe it was a wood carving show somewhere. So I'm sorry, I can't give you any information on that other than, there it is. Another thing I want to talk about here's another type mandrel. It has a slot in it. You stick your sandpaper in it. Cloth back paper works the best, and you got your little flap sander. It works so-so. Sanding drums. You can pick these up pretty cheap. Different size sanding drums. You can get these drums in packs off of eBay, Amazon, whatever. You can get, fine grit, rough grit. They work pretty decent. Just, depends on what you're working on. One thing that I have found that I like to do a lot, I generally do, is I make my own little sanding flap disc. You can get these little pieces here. They come in the Dremel kits, okay? They're made to run on the cutoff disc. What I like to do with these is I take me some cloth back paper, okay, sandpaper, and I just draw me a circle on it, trace a circle. I think I trace this off a old pill bottle. Cut it out with some cheap scissors and put your piece in there. Of course, you want to tighten it down well, and be careful. These things will strip, okay? Do not over tighten it. All right, do not over tighten. That's a key thing. Just put it in there, snug it up a bit, and they work great, okay? Now, you can simply tear the paper, cloth back paper, and make you some square strips, okay? Here's some good cloth back paper here I like to use. You can simply tear it, tear you another piece, tear you several pieces, however many you want, and you can stack them, okay? All right, now, the problem I have found with this, the only thing I don't like about that is that edge, is you're sanding, or you're, let's just say you're trying to buff into something. Let's just say this old dog blank, and yes, this is a piece of pine we'll be careful. We're going to covering stuff like that later. You can see the grain patterns in it. It's not ideal, but if you're power carving, it works pretty decent. But the problem, as I was getting to with these flap discs like this, is you're sanding, they can grab. That corner can hit, okay, and grab. And when it does, it can make your Dremel kick or jump. And, you know, so what I like to do is I stack them up and then I just cut them. Cut the corners off a little bit, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, all right? This, I found out, works better with the rigid if you do have a perfect circle, okay? It allows you, as you're carving, to kind of sweep and carve, and it doesn't grab, all right? Like I said, there's nothing wrong if you want to stack them square, whatever works for you, okay? But my favorite is to have it smooth, okay? So as you're using it, it will just simply glide along, all right? Now I'm going to demonstrate that for you. All right, always make sure you got your safety glasses on. All right, you want to run lower speed. I'm not turning my dust collector on. This is my homemade dust collector. Made this out of a drawer. Put a piece of pegboard over it. I've got it running to a shop vac through a Dust Deputy. If you don't know what Dust Deputy is, you can look that up. It will separate the dust particles and the solids and keep them out of your vacuum. I've been using this over a year. It goes in a 5-gallon bucket, and I've yet to have to empty it, okay? And I carve quite a bit. Now, you want to watch your speed. And when you're using this, as I'm going to show you here, you can just simply, and it doesn't catch. You can go over your piece however you want. All right? Like I said, be careful of your speed. Now, also, whoops, didn't mean to give everybody a headache there. Also, I use these fine cloth back, and as they wear down, you can see they get smaller and smaller. I simply cut the corners off. I just stack several of them. That's some really fine paper. Works great. I believe it's the company's name's Clean Spores. They make some great paper cloth back. It's very durable, okay? When you get these, be careful once again as you tighten this mandrel. If you over tighten, it can strip. Now this here, I like to put me a little washer on it. You can see that washer. I like to do that. It kind of helps with durability. All right. That's the one thing I want to go over with you. Another thing I wanted to mention is I'm always seeing and hearing people say, well, my burrs are loaded up. How do I clean my burrs? How do you clean your burrs? Some people boil them. Some people oven clean. Some people torch. I used to use a torch method. All right, what I like to do is I pick this up at a Harbor Freight Tools. Now, I don't know where you live. If you're in the U.S., you pretty much know Harbor Freight. This was a piece, it was twice this long, of abrasive belt cleaner, okay? It's a rubber block. You can also use an old tennis shoe. I've used an old tennis shoe, okay? They both work. Got these little bugs in here. They both work. Now, you can see this little burr here, for the focus on it. It's been used, it's got some pine sap on it, okay? It's got some pine sap in it. This one here, I've been doing some bone carving. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got some bone dust in it. All right, this is a flame tip. I'm not sure if this is Kutzall saber tooth. I don't remember. I've had it so long. All right, you can see it's pretty much loaded up. And then, of course, well, this sanding disc is really loaded up, okay? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate how this works, all right? Now, I'm using a variable speed RAM micro carver. Motor's in a handpiece. I prefer this. Dremel works the same. Some people use Dremel. Some people use flex shaft. I like this. It's made by Master Carver. Variable speed. I think it goes up to 40,000 RPM. Forward and reverse. Left-handed people, right-handed people to work for that. It was about 140 bucks when I bought it. And, hey, it's lasted me for years. So, you know, why replace it if it keeps going? but I like it. You simply can turn it in, push it in, excuse me. And when you're putting your burrs in, you don't necessarily have to bottom them out, but you don't want them way out here, whether it's your Dremel or whatever. You want to slide it in kind of about medium ways, lock it in place, okay? Now I'm going to demonstrate this cleaning, okay? Get my RPM up a little bit. Hope you can see this. Let's see here. And just bury it in there, okay? All right, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but that is pretty doggone clean. It took all the bone dust and other sediment out that I couldn't brush out. All right, here's one with some pine sap in it. All righty. All right, pretty clean, okay? I hope you can see that, all right? Pretty clean, all right? Now, this one's loaded up pretty good here. You can see that, all right? I hope you can. If it won't focus good, I apologize, but it's pretty well loaded up, all right? Turn my tool on. And just stick it. Okay. That got that quick time right there. It got about 90% of that out. All right. Still a little bit right here. I could hit it a time or two more, but it's about 90% out. All right. Another demonstration here is sanding drum. All right, now remember when you're sanding drums, you want to watch your speed. You see I was taking some of that out of there? Okay, it's getting a lot. Some of that's pretty deep because this is a very coarse drum, but if you keep going, there you can see it's taking a good bit of that out. Okay, now that sandpaper, that's pretty much embedded. I actually believe what that is some paint. I was stripping some paint off, so it's got some paint, but that's below the surface of the sandpaper now, so it's aggressive. It's not loaded up, so it would actually sand again. Here's a drum here. You can see it's pretty well. It's got some loaded up right there in that corner. It took it off of there, and I keep in mind, like I said, you gotta make sure these things are snug but not over tight. Drum slid back, but you can see it's clean. It works well. It works for burrs, excellent. I find that's just the handy and easiest way to clean my burrs. That's one little tip I just want to share with you, and I hope it helps you. I'll be covering more tips later, and hope you enjoy it. Hope you subscribe. I hope you like. And if you got any questions, comments, please put them down. I'll do my best to answer them. I've been really busy lately. I've got a big show coming up in Surrey County, North Carolina, chainsaw carving expo, or demonstrations, I should say. I've been hired for the week to go up there and demo chainsaw carving, so I'm looking forward to that. So I've been really busy. I apologize, haven't been getting a lot of videos out, And this is all new to me. I mean, all this is new to me. I've been playing around with learning how to do the camera stuff and setting up. I'm not super high-tech savvy with this, but we're just doing the best we can. All right, well, like I said, I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, hope you share, and if you got any questions or comments, let me know. Thanks.